Hi, my name is Jake Gross, and I'll be showing you 1990s through 2000s hip hop. But in order to do that, I need to show you the history of hip hop itself. In the 1970s, an underground urban movement became known as hip hop. It was formed in the Bronx, a borough in New York City, New York. It was created by African Americans, Latino Americans, and Caribbean Americans. It focused on MCing over breakbeats. It originated from parties which were held in-house as well as neighborhood block parties. Clive Campbell, aka DJ Kool Herc, was the first person to attempt DJing percussion break loops that in turn created hip hop. A break beat is a repeated sample of a drum beat, usually forming a syncopated rhythm. These are samples of a record that are played back and looped to keep the tempo going to create a new song from the original by rapping or MCing over the beat. DJ Kool Herc hosted a party in the rec room of his apartment building at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue in the Bronx, New York. The party was labeled as a back-to-school jam for Herc's little sister. It is seen by many as a precise birthplace of hip-hop. The party was the first time an audience heard the results of Herc's DJing experiments. He pioneered the technique and skill of isolating the rhythm sections from the 1960s and 70s vinyl records, known as the break, and looping them on repeat or merging them with other loops to create something entirely new. During his DJ set, his friend, aka Coke LaRock, grabbed a microphone and began calling out friends' names and emceeing or rapping improvised lyrics or flows over Herc's created breakbeat. The roots of hip-hop trace back to the Jamaican ska era of the mid-1960s. Here's a young DJ Kool Herc at a block party, and here's the original flyer, hand-drawn and written by DJ Kool Herc, and as you can see, it says the precise date or birth of hip-hop that many consider as August 11th, 1973. Here's a better picture of DJ Kool Herc. Old school hip-hop is the era from its birth in the 1970s through the mid-1980s. DJ Kool Herc's foundation of hip-hop inspired many other artists to create their own music following his examples. The Sugar Hill Gang's song Rapper's Delight in 1979 was a hit on the national music charts. Their hit track inspired a new wave of musicians, artists, and performers. It also spread and introduced hip-hop to the masses from becoming mainstream. This era is more simple but still has great beats and lyrics. Some true classics that hold up well. The music was a mix of lighthearted and fun-sounding hip-hop, as well as deep, introspective hip-hop, much like hip-hop still is today. Again, not everything needs to be complex to get the message across and evoke emotions and feelings within the listener. Simple songs can still share the artist's stories in great detail, painting a picture with their music. Up next, I have the video from the Sugar Hill Gang song Rapper's Delight from 1979, followed by Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five song called The Message from 1982. The first video is more lighthearted, easygoing, classic hip-hop, whereas the second video is a little more introspective, darker, and a view of living on the streets and what's going on there in the Bronx.
Now what you hear is not a test, I'm rapping to the beat. And me, the groove, and my friends are gonna try to move your feet. You see, I am Wonder Mike, and I like to say hello. Up to the black, to the white, the red, and the brown, and the purple, and yellow. But first, I gotta bang, bang, the boogie to the boogie. Say up, jump the boogie to the bang, bang, boogie. Let's rock. You don't stop, rock the rhythm that'll make your body rock. Well, so far you've heard my voice, but I brought two friends along. And next on the mic is my man Hank. Come on, Hank, sing that song. Check it out. When I'm imp, the dimp, the ladies pimp, the women fight for my delight.
Broken glass everywhere. People pissing on the stage, you know they just don't care. I can't take the smell, can't take the noise. Got no money to move out, I guess I got no choice. Rats in the front room, roaches in the back, junkies in the alley with the baseball bat. I tried to get away, but I couldn't get far, cause a man with a tow truck repossessed my car. Don't push me, cause I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head.
The original basic hip-hop song structure is usually a 4 to 8 bar introduction, usually in 4/4 time, followed by a 16-bar verse or two, followed by a 4 to 8 bar chorus, followed by another 16-bar verse or two, followed by a 4 to 8 bar chorus, followed by a 4 to 8 bar outro. A 4-bar hook, for example, was also thrown in the mix as well, sometimes after a chorus and then going back to the verse. A lot of hip-hop, especially older, has a mellow vibe and feel. It's more down-tempo, such as 93 beats per minute. There are also slower songs that have a hardcore in-your-face approach via the hard-hitting music and lyrics. Hip-hop has varied quite a bit over the years, and really anything goes as far as creativity and making things work by expressing yourself. There's tension and release throughout a lot of hip-hop. It focuses on the rhythm, the beat, but there are harmony, keyboards, guitar, etc., and melody, rapping, and singing in hip-hop. There are accents as well as syncopation in the beats and lyrics and flows. Instrument or virtual instrument-wise, along with rapping, hip-hop falls under the homophonic or polyphonic texture. More modern hip-hop has more changes between each bar than old-school hip-hop did. Again, anything goes. Some of the simplest hip-hop songs are the strongest. I'll go over some of the hardware real quick that was used in 90s and 2000s hip-hop. A lot of the stuff's still used today, believe it or not, even though most people are using digital audio workstations on computers. The Akai MPC 2000 XL, which is pictured below, is probably the most well-known and famous sampler, beat machine, and MIDI production center. Basically, there's 16 assignable pads and 4 different banks, so a total of 64 samples can be used at once. From there, you're using your chopped up and rearranged samples and making new music by changing the tone and pitch of other people's music and rearranging it, as well as playing your own keyboard on top of it through the MIDI connection and so forth. Here's an example of someone sampling on an Akai MPC 2000 XL, and he goes by Dubs Banger. Some other hardware used in the 90s and 2000s hip-hop is the Ensoniq ASR-10 on the top left. One of my favorite producers, Blockhead, used this, and I'll show you in a little bit. On the right is the EMU SP1200 sampler beat machine. And on the bottom left, we have DJ Rock Raider, who's unfortunately not with us anymore, of the Executioners, rocking or scratching a pair of Panasonic Technics SL1200 turntables. Software used in 90s and 2000s hip-hop, again, analog hardware is much more prevalent, especially in the 90s into the earlier 2000s, but Pro Tools has been used since the 90s, along with digital recorders, to mainly just record the beats and add some finishing touches, as well as other instruments. And then after that, Ableton Live came out in the early 2000s, but got really popular in, I'd say, 2006 and up, and then really, of course, very popular now, but similar to Pro Tools, but kind of took off of a lot of the old samplers and beat machines as far as the ease of use and, really quick, nice workflow. All right, here we have the Beastie Boys, a New York hip-hop trio. We have Ad Rock on the left, MCA, rest in peace, in the middle, and Mike D on the right, as well as their DJ and producer, Mixmaster Mike, one of their producers. Rick Rubin is a famous producer and co-founder of Def Jam Records with Russell Simmons, and he kind of helped form their earlier sounds, especially helped them produce License to Ill, and that album did really well in 1986, and again kind of pushing hip-hop to the mainstream more. Unfortunately, they parted ways after that over money issues, but the Beastie Boys were a huge influence on me in the 90s, and I'll show you a video next called Sabotage, which came out in 96, and that's really what turned me on to the Beastie Boys. They're really cool. They played guitar, bass, and drums, as well as use their producers, samplers, and beat machines, so they have a good mix with good hip-hop sound with a rock edge. Here's the Beastie Boys video for Sabotage from 1996. Okay, here we have the Wu-Tang Clan. They were formed in the early 90s and got big in 94, as well as throughout the 90s. They were really popular in 2000s, and they're still popular today. Wu-Tang forever. The Wu-Tang Clan consists of the RZA, the founder, producer, and MC, along with MCs the GZA, Old Dirty Bastard, Inspector Deck, U-God, Ghostface Killah, Capadonna, Raekwon, and Master Killer. They formed in Staten Island, New York, and they're considered East Coast or hardcore hip-hop. They speak the truth about what they see and experience on the streets, the lives they live, and put it in your face with a hardcore style. Rap and hip-hop are often interchangeable, hard to separate. It could be said that rap is more dark, depressing, and hip-hop can be seen as more looking towards a better tomorrow. Here's a video from the Wu-Tang Clan called Wu-Tang Clan Ain't Nothing to F With, the clean version from 1994.
Oh man, I slam, damn, I scream like Tarzan. I be tossing and forcing, my style is awesome. I'm causing more family food than Richard Dawson. And the survey said you're dead. Baby flying guillotine chops off your fucking head. Mr. Who is that? Hey yo, the Who is back. Making niggas go boom boom like on Super Cat. Me fear no one. Oh no, here come the Wu-Tang Shogun. Killer to the eardrum. This one into the groove, I get screwed and I'm forced to fuck it up. My style carries like a pickup truck. Cross the clear blue yonder. See the China Sea, I slam tracks like quarterback sacks from LT.
Okay, here we have the group Gang Starr, which consists of DJ and producer DJ Premier and the MC Guru, rest in peace. These two members formed in 1989 in Brooklyn, New York. DJ Premier is one of my favorite producers, and Guru is one of my favorite MCs. And I'll show you a video of one of my favorite songs of theirs called The Moment of Truth, and it showcases the boom bap style of DJ Premier's beats, which is common in a lot of hip-hop itself.
Why do bad things happen to good people? Seems that life is just a constant war between good and evil. The situation that I'm facing is mad amazing. To think such problems can arise from minor confrontations. Now I'm contemplating in my bedroom pacing. Dark clouds over my head, my heart's racing. Suicide? Nah, I'm not a foolish guy. Don't even feel like drinking or even getting high, cause all that's gonna do really is accelerate the anxieties that I wish I could alleviate.
Okay, here we have Blockhead. He's probably my favorite producer. He's an underground New York hip-hop producer who makes a lot of music for rappers as well as really cool instrumental hip-hop albums, which have a lot more change-ups and a lot more going on than the standard hip-hop beat does, because there's not lyrics or flows to accompany the beat. And next I'll show you one of his videos called Insomniac Olympics from 2004, followed by The Music Scene from 2009. Okay, here we have different types of hip-hop from the 70s to present, different subgenres, and I won't go into detail on these, but just wanted to show you guys this slide to give you a glimpse into how vast the world of hip-hop has grown and evolved over the years, much like any other music genre. Okay, I had to bring up the group Public Enemy. They're under the political hip-hop subgenre. Public Enemy is Chuck D, the MC, and Flava Flav, who's a hype man, sings a lot of the chorus. And they had a DJ producer named Terminator X, and he retired in '98. They formed in New York in 1982 and were very popular in the 80s and 90s as well as 2000s, and still continue to release music today. They are a prime example of political hip-hop. They speak of unity, ending racism, concerns for the African American community, standing up for yourself, as well as extreme criticism of the media of America. And here I'll show you their new video, a glimpse of it. It's called State of the Union, STFU.
Go, 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 just go, go, go.
whatever it takes. Rid this dictator, POTUS my tail, ass the beta, prime time primo, rhyme time crime like no other in this lifetime. White House killer, dead in lifelines, broke this joke out or die trying. Unprecedented, the minute, many presidented, Nazi, Gestapo, dictator, defendant. It's not what you think, it's what you follow. Run for them jewels, drink from that bottle. Another 4 years gonna gut your hollow. Gut it out, dried up, broken, can't borrow.
Okay, here's a breakdown of the song you just heard. It's in the key of F sharp major, 4/4 time signature, and 93 beats per minute. It follows a classic hip-hop song structure, more or less. There's a pre-interlude of 1 4/4 bar, followed by an intro hook of 4 bars, followed by the first verse, which is 12 bars, followed by the first chorus, which is 8 bars, followed by the second verse, which is 10 bars, followed by the second chorus, which is 8 bars, followed by the second hook, which is 4 bars, followed by the third verse, which is 8 bars, and followed by the last chorus, which is 8 bars, and followed by an outro, which is 4 bars. Thanks for learning, looking, and listening with me. Sorry this was a bit long. I did my best to narrow it down, but for me, it was tough to do so. Have a good one.